Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Late Night GM, featuring our special guest tonight, CLIPZ. CLIPZ, how you doing today?
Sir. I am feeling good, man. How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Couldn't be better.
Yes.
Couldn't be better at all. So you're coming off a pretty large, I would say victory, but the news just broke, second place finish in the Community Clash sponsored by Valhalla. How you feeling about that right now?
Oh, first off, I just want to say shout out Valhalla for hosting. It was a pleasure, to play in something like that and to compete against some of the communities that I've been following, for almost a few years now. So big shout out to them for hosting and shout out to their team for taking first. And, I just wanted to rep for the clones, and I'm glad we were able to bring home, the second place.
Yeah, I must say it was an honor having you guys rep us so well, like true professionals, and the skill set that your team that you put together, you guys are next level, man. It was a pleasure to watch. For those of you who don't know, we had a little Jack put on a stream on Twitter and Spaces, and we pulled up the Twitch stream and kind of watched it together and rooted you guys on. But it was super fun, and the structure was basically like 5 rounds, and they kind of tabulated the scores for each team until the end, and then it was like it basically came down to the wire towards the end of the last game. So it was pretty damn epic, I'll say.
Oh yeah, it was definitely competitive. Every game was a lot of fun. I love Fortnite. It's one of the best games ever, in my opinion, especially right now to play. But yeah, man, like I think what they hosted, that type of event, is going to be the future of like Web3 gaming experiences. I think, not that I think, but I would love to see more of those in the future for sure.
So we actually had Jack had a question for you, CLIPZ, that I'll ask right now because it seems like the perfect time. Jack basically said the closing circle in Game 5 was some like elite PvP combat, and he was saying like, what was your strategy going into that closing circle?
But again, the circles, there have been 2 circles already, 2 storms already. Mm-hmm. They're still very much chilling.
This is interesting. This could give them some storm sickness, though. I'm not sure if they changed that in the new update. But if you're in the storm for about, I think, 7 minutes, it'll start hitting you for 10, and you can't. And then after that, it'll start hitting for 20, and you just can't heal from that. And there's like no way to get out of it unless you leave the storm. But it looks like there is a team on the outskirts corridor.
They are. Wait, no, I just realized something. I mean, this is new meta. This is the new map. We're talking about the vault cards. We're talking about the key cards.
I mean, going into Game 5, we wanted to make sure that we could stun our competition that was going to contest, the top 3 placements of the tournament. So the first 4 games we played our game, but the 5th game we switched up the strategy and honestly just wanted to stun one of the top 2 teams up below us. So what we did, we rotated into their POI where they landed, and we knew that where they were going to be at a certain moment. Like there's something that spawns, there's these bots that spawn on the map, and you can get a key card from them and go in a vault at their spot where they spawn. So we knew that the timing of that, and we knew that they were going to kill those bots and then go in the vault, and they would be vulnerable because they'll be in the vault not knowing. And we kind of just crouched around, and we ambushed them, and we stunned them. We killed 3 of the 4 players on their team, so they had to play as a solo for like majority of that end game. And they ended up rebooting one of their squad mates, so they got as a duo, and we ran into them at the end. So what we did though as a squad for that end zone, we just stayed in the storm, healing for as long as we could, making sure that they didn't come back to get their teammates' card to revive as a full squad. And then we just rotated in with our swords, any type of mobility that we could find. We were just rotating it in and making sure that we could heal ourselves on the way so that we stayed alive while ticking in the storm. We actually got something called storm sickness, which some people might not be familiar with, where basically if you spend more than like 10 minutes in the storm circle,
shit.
You have to get out, or else you'll probably just die. Like, there's
Was
no
that
way
what
you
happened
can
to didn't one of your teammates fall prey to that?
No. He stood back to ensure that none of the other players came back for the card, and I think he fell from the top of a building and ended up, we weren't able to go back for him. So one of our players went back for his card to reboot him, but I don't think he was able to go back as much. And our teammates said, "Don't stress the reboot. It's not worth it. You guys will probably get focused. Just try to survive." And we survived as much as we could.
And so it's really interesting how I'm sure the dynamic is different when you're just playing one match, and there's only versus the goal over points over 5 games total, as it comes down to the end. I'm sure that affects your strategy quite a bit. We were definitely like the Twitter Spaces. We were not privy to the exact strategy, and we assumed you guys had something that you were employing with the storm. But yeah, we were. It was tense. I will say that much.
Oh yeah. So after the first game we were playing a little passive just because we didn't know what to expect. The second game we knew what to expect, so that's why we dropped almost a 30 kill win. We wanted to put the pedal to the metal a little bit more just to kind of show people, like we could probably roll this if we want to. And then the next game after that, I don't think we did the same loop path. I think we went to the opposite side of the map this time, and that kind of slowed things down a bit. And we ended up dying early because I guess we weren't used to fighting on that side of the map. But then, like I said, going into that last 2 games, we had to really switch it up just to kind of make sure we positioned ourselves to still contest for the money.
When there was a brand new update, right? The day before on Fortnite, right? And how did
So
that affect
definitely-
your play? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff was new to all of us who were playing, not just my team. To everybody who was involved in the tournament, we all had to deal with a new loot pool. So that was new weapons, new items. There was a whole new southeast side of the map that was there that wasn't there coming into a few days ago. So we had to get used to that, and that's where we landed, was on a brand new side of the map that just came out of the new update. So for us to still cash out, get the second place with landing somewhere brand new that none of us were used to, new squad, haven't played together. So it was fun, definitely fun.
I love hearing you talk strategy, talking through the game. I mean, I feel like from the outside looking in, there's a lot of the general public that doesn't understand the elite level coordination that goes into playing playing a team-based game like this in combat. And it's, I don't know, for me, watching it, hearing you talk about it, you gain a whole new level of appreciation for the skills that come from the cooperative skills that come from playing as a team. And then there's all the, the soft skills that are behind that, whether they be just your dexterity of fingers and everything else that we could get into. But the strategy is the part that I'm just floored with. I mean, I love hearing you talk about it. I could listen all day long, actually.
That is actually one of my main reasons why I continue to play, because I love competing, especially as a team too, because like you said, that synergy you have to have and that communication sometimes is something you can't get anywhere else, right? Unless it's like an online or like a team-based competitive format game, right? So that's what keeps me coming, bro, because like you said, it's more than just the mechanics of the game. It's more than just being good at it. If you can be good as a team, that's a whole nother level of talent and skill, that kind of puts you above everyone else.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think like the chemistry, right, plays such a big part of it, and the communication. So let me ask you this: it'd be a good time to shout out your teammates, and I'd like to kind of hear, like, have you guys played together very much, or kind of what's your background together?
I actually have not played with any of those guys before who I played that tournament with.
Oh wow!
I know of them from the Fortnite community. I might have eliminated a few of them in game. They might have done the same to me, right? So we've competed against each other, but never with each other. But I know of them, we follow each other on socials and stuff. So the person that I reached out to put the team together with me was Tax. And Tax actually was the one who overslept. So he's the one who reached out to his friends, like his squad, to, that he had synergy with, that he already played with, right? So he reached out to them, got them together. They all confirmed to play with me. And, we were ready to go. Then the day of the tournament, he overslept, so we had to get a sub. Luckily, it was Origins, who also had played with them before, but like I said, not with me. So they had some pre synergy that came from before. But as a squad, fresh squad, shout out to Fluger, shout out to Moo, shout out to Origins. They held it down. Every game, they played their hearts out, and I appreciate them for showing up.
I mean, damn, that is, I did not expect that. I thought you guys, the way you had moved together, I mean, that's just a testament to each of your individual skill sets to be able to adapt on the fly like that. Like, it looked like you guys had definitely played together before.
Oh yeah. So in these types of formats, if you're playing, at a high level in competitive Fortnite, you're gonna want something called an IGL, which stands for in-game lead. So shout out to Moo because he was our IGL and everything that he was saying, all the comms that he had, they were on point. We were able to listen and just follow, his rotations, and we held it down. We were able to, like I said, secure that second.
That's dope.
It's incredible. Now, Fortnite is no build. Like, that was the format. Were you like a big build player in Fortnite before they came out with the no build version?
So I was definitely playing Fortnite when it was build mode since it came out. I did compete a little bit. I wouldn't say I was like one of the greatest Fortnite builders ever, but I definitely, I could hang. I definitely could hang with some of the best of them for sure. But up until Zero Builds came out, like I didn't really like. I played Zero Builds when it first came out last year a little bit, but I didn't start playing it again until like September, October of last year.
Do you think the gameplay? I mean, obviously, Zero Build is a different game than Build Battle like Fortnite, but like, do you feel the mechanics of the game, just some of the general, I don't know, gameplay, I guess, has changed? In the no build Fortnite, like, is targeting the same?
It's a completely different game. Completely different game. I think that it's more of a natural, like, BR feel. It kind of can, gives the vibes of like a PUBG or a Call of Duty, where you're more chill, like the Warzone, where you don't have to worry about the critical thinking that comes with building. But in my opinion, Fortnite still separates itself from other games and other titles because of it's like a 5D chess. The building made it 5D chess, but they somehow managed to do that by adding new mechanics specifically that came when they added Zero Build into the game, where it made Zero Build possible to actually enjoy, to be enjoyed. Because before Zero Build came out, you couldn't tactical sprint, you couldn't mantle and hurdle things. There was a lot of different types of movement in the game. Now that's changed to adapt to not being able to build up where you naturally could before. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's a completely different game, especially as a player too. You have to adjust, and I think that a lot of build pros and build players who come and try to cross over into the Zero Build world, they're realizing that they can't play the same, and that's where their biggest faults are. They're jumping into fights like they would when they can build, and then they're out in the open just getting fried. So there's definitely a different play style. A different approach you gotta have.
So one of my favorite moments, I believe it was round 2 when you guys took first, when somehow you guys got stuck on the low ground against another team and were sandwiched in between a couple of teams, and it just got into just a moment of bubble madness. And but you guys managed to squirrel your way out of that one. That was quite impressive. If you want to talk to that kind of breakdown, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so when those situations come into play, that's kind of like what I said earlier. Shout out to Moo. You just gotta be confident and have clear communication. He made the comms to just stay here, and if they do damage, if they come in this bubble, we got to kill them. They didn't come to our bubble. They ran. Their bubble was about to expire, and they ran to fight a different team. So when they did that, Moo made the comm, listen, we need to go ape them right now. Let's brawl while they're distracted. And we did. We caught them at the disadvantage because they were already, getting damage dealt with each other in their fight. And then we come as a third party and we finished it off. So it was definitely a great play by Mew.
This is fantastic. I mean, I know, right? Like, Faye is probably listening to this or watching this, and she's geeking out because we have some Fortnite junkies in the clone community that are not pros, but they play all the time. So to hear you talk is probably like, orgasmic to the ears. Let's put it that way.
Oh, no. Yeah. Once you're like super into the game and you can kind of appreciate it from this perspective, it's such a beautiful thing, man. Like, I think that's why esports in general, it has such a great community, just because like you can fall in love with it the same way you do in the traditional sports. Like watching it when you understand what's happening in the game, like it's crazy.
When I love how it comes down to the minutia of everything, right? Like as you ascend, you just learn more about the details, right? And how to really craft everything. And then with the updates that they continue to bring, it's a never evolving game, right? Like that's what's so great about it. So as we can see, you're streaming in here with your beautiful clone, by the way. And I've seen that you stream a lot with your clone. I believe mostly on TikTok. So I'd be kind of curious to hear your thoughts on just like how you've evolved, your digital identity streaming as your clone as a gamer.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of crazy. I actually wanted to do something like this before kind of clonex was a thing. And I had met Chris in 2019 from one of the founders of rtfkt at a random Faze party. And, shout out to him because we followed each other on socials. And that's when I first got introduced to his art. And he actually inspired my passion kind of for digital identity. And I saw what he was doing and building early. And it had nothing really to do with what's happening now, but just some of this artwork that he would post. It was unique, and it kind of was like immersive, and it was different. It was a different layer of how people were creating content at the time. So some of the shoes and stuff that he posted, it's just out of this world. He was like making the craziest things. So I started piquing that interest, and then over time, I was obviously already a content creator and a streamer. I was already playing Fortnite. So then the pandemic hit, and everybody was online, and my TikTok blew up, and I was able to start streaming on TikTok during the pandemic. But that was with my normal regular face cam without the filter. 2021 comes around, and this things start changing. I start getting into finance, stumble upon I was already like barely invested in the crypto. I didn't really know what it was. I thought I knew what it was before 2020. And then before 2021, like I had like Litecoin and maybe some Chainlink up until like 2021. And and then I really went down the rabbit hole in 2021, and that introduced me, to obviously the bull run, and then NFTs, and then rtfkt came along, and clonex came along, and I was so hyped for what there's actually a tweet that I have, and I think I screenshotted it, where I tweeted at rtfkt before they announced clonex. I think it might have still been Akira before it was that, before they even announced anything. But I said, if they could make a character for me that I could use, and they said we are the right people. And it was before they announced anything blockchain related. And I just think that it's cool to see how the stars align now, that I eventually ended up with the clonex on my NFT journey. I worked my way here. I wasn't able to get one on Mint. I always wanted one. To me, this is like my blue chip. I know a lot of people have their one thing that they want in the space, that one collectible or item or profile pic that they really, would do anything for. And to me, it was the clonex. It always has been. It was what I resonated the most with. And when I was able to get one around summertime of last year, it was about a few weeks before the 3D files came out. So once the 3D files came out, it was like right after I purchased it, a few weeks after. And I was so excited because then I realized I could stream with it. And it was like the perfect timing. Like I got it at the perfect timing. I got one that, looked close to me in real life, like resembled me closely in real life. So people wouldn't get too confused if I decided to use it, right? So, I was so excited. And before too, I always used to dye my hair, and I used to have like green hair. That's what people knew me for on the internet, especially on TikTok. So I wanted at first a clone with green hair, but then I decided to stop dyeing my hair just to make sure that I can have hair when I'm older, right? So I stopped doing that. So like I said, it was just perfect timing. I found one that was natural hair color. Everything is on point. Super excited to rep the clones, and then I started streaming with it, and it was crazy because like I didn't know how my community would receive the filter. So the people who knew me were like, "What's going on?" I explained it to them, what it represented, and people were, they actually were like, "That's super cool." Like, the people who didn't know about it, didn't even know about NFTs, they loved it. And the reason why I stream on TikTok with it, now I stream on Twitch. I just started streaming on Twitch this past week, But the reason why I was streaming on TikTok with it and in general was because the algorithm, the discoverability on TikTok is insane compared to any other platform anyone's using right now. If you're trying to start any type of business that you need some type of engagement or people to see what you're doing, TikTok is the place to do it. You got to spend some time consuming on there to see what you're up against and see what you can kind of make your own. But once you kind of figure out the app and spend some time watching content, I'm sure anybody can benefit from it for sure. So I've been streaming on there just because the algorithm, it benefits new eyes, and I wanted to showcase my content, not only the clonex, but just what I was doing to as much new people as possible. Just a way to stay, relevant. I feel like TikTok is a good way to stay relevant with, especially like a younger demographic as well. For gaming, at least too. The gaming Fortnite community on there is insane. So that's what I noticed once I started streaming with the filter. I had a bunch of people who never heard of an NFT asking me what was on my face or how I was streaming like this, and I was getting tons of engagement strictly off of this clonex filter. And that's when I knew, I was doing the right thing. I was like, this is perfect because digital identity is the future. We already have profile pics, we already have usernames, we already have all these things that we're using. This is kind of like the next step of all this. So I was glad that, I was able to be innovative in a way, right, for some of the people that are the future of all this too.
Yeah, I mean, you chose the right collection too, because they're so gamer centric. Like they literally came from the gaming world as well.
No, exactly. The stars aligned in a way that I never would have guessed, and like I said, I could have been any happier that I landed here, honestly.
As a forerunner in the space, I think it's fantastic that you found these outlets to connect with the new and upcoming community that might not be aware of the literally life-changing, world-changing technologies of crypto-economic systems. And I think as a professional gamer, I see so many opportunities for you to take advantage of these systems going forward. I mean, very simply, your win yesterday, or I'm sorry, the second place finish yesterday, the rewards that come from that, the reputation that comes from that should be collected somewhere and displayed on chain, and then it's verifiable who the best gamers are. And I'm really looking forward to when we can go down that road,
Oh yeah, that's a conversation I'm excited to have any day of the week, where all this is headed. Like you said, we're all in the right spot. We're doing the right things. I'm hoping, we could all get there soon. Hopefully soon. I'm not in no rush though. I know great things take time, but I'm just excited to be here.
Soon TM, right?
Seconds.
It'll be here in seconds.
Please.
So I just want to get some closing thoughts from you. Since you kind of have your pulse on both, the Web 2 side of gaming and the Web 3, now that we're kind of seeing that open up, I guess, how do you see that merge, continue to happen? And I guess what excites you most about the Web 3 side of things moving forward?
Currently, how I see things merging, I see a lot of, like we saw yesterday, events, experiences that kind of get the best of both worlds in the same room, right? Whether it be collaborations on merchandise, collaborations on experiences like we saw yesterday, gaming events, things like that. Like that's, where we're headed. And the next step of all of it to me is, on the tech side, how can we connect those dots? And, like you said, kind of who's the best gamers? How can we verify who the best gamers are in the world, and on what titles, how can we verify this? And it's not just word of mouth. It's not just a Twitter post. We need something official to go to, kind of like, how the NBA has the NBA, and we all go to NBA.com if we want to see the score, and it's official. You know what I mean? We need something official on chain. So, just to me right now, I think the industry leaders, whether it be Web 2, Web 3, gaming, on both ends, we need to get together. We need to work together. Let's have the right conversations. Let's make it not about money, but let's make it about the people, the communities involved, and let's really build something that's here forever. That's not going to be gone tomorrow. That, like I said, that it's not based upon how much money we could pump out of this or drain out of this. Like like I said, I think the perspective kind of needs to switch from this being about finance, and let's make it about us. Like, what are we building for us? You know, as a gaming community, as a gaming culture, you know, as a gaming industry. Like, how can we leverage our best people, our best ideas, our best practices? You know, not the stuff that we just cut, the low hanging fruits. Like, we got to stop going for the low hanging fruits.
All right. Well said.
Yeah. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, CLIPZ, do you have a universal profile? I'm fairly certain that you do.
I do have a universal profile. I think I got mine in 2021. I'm pretty sure. I was like following LUKSO, and I forgot who reached out to me. It was one of the community leaders at the time. I'm pretty sure they're still with the team. Is it I'm about to check my DMs. It's like crypto chic,
right? I think that'd be my guess. I think, yeah.
It was a woman. I forgot her name, and I feel
Sarah.
bad.
It's Sarah, I think.
Yeah, I know people by their usernames.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so she reached out, and she informed me on like how to set it up, and I set it up. I thought it was so cool, and I set up my profile, did a little bio, and I'm just excited to see the future of all this finally come together.
That structure that's being built, the fact that you could truly then build your gamer reputation on a blockchain that's optimized for it, and the entry is going to be inexpensive, dare I say free for any gamer to come and actually set one up going forward. I mean, I feel like there's a huge opportunity here, and it's incumbent upon people like yourself, and then, people like Alts Anonymous or myself, to just keep trumpeting it like loud and from the mountaintops, because these are first mover advantage in this space is going to be really important. And the opportunities to, like you said, to not go after the low hanging fruit, but to build it the right way are going to be there for the people with pure hearts. Let's put it that way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, also like as AI develops, like, I don't know how big of an issue that is in gaming, like with bots or not, but like it would eliminate that, right? Like you wouldn't be able to just have a bot crushing games. They would have to be verified on chain.
Exactly. I know that they do have certain types of bot farms in certain games. And me personally, I haven't ran into much of issues like with AI, other than like Fortnite, they'll fill a lobby up with like a bot, right? But I know what you're explaining, like an AI that's built to have an advantage, some sort of advantage in the game. And they do have stuff like that in other games, like bot farms that'll, sell accounts with certain rankings and stuff like that on certain games, just to kind of get certain items and stuff for people who don't want to grind for it. So that stuff does exist. And like, I agree with what you said, having that stuff on chain, and it'll eliminate it. But me personally, I'm gonna be honest, I've just been grinding Fortnite.
Well, I'm glad you haven't had to mess with that then. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be frustrating though. I can only imagine, like, people who do have to deal with some of that stuff. It's probably, you grind, you spend all that time, right? Who knows what they go through to make sure that they can achieve certain things just to have somebody pay for it and get it in 2 seconds,
Yeah, it's like the gamification of gamification. It's just really frustrating sometimes.
There's always going to be somebody doing the backdoor stuff.
Yeah, if there's an advantage, they will find it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, CLIPZ, we really appreciate you joining us on this the set of Late Night GM. We appreciate it, and thanks again for repping the clone community in such an epic way. And you've been a positive community member since you joined, and I'm just looking forward to following your journey as a Fortnite champion.
I appreciate it. Definitely, I do more things than play Fortnite currently.
Right,
That's just how I pass my time. So I know that a lot of people, they're actually surprised too, because a lot of people, they might not know that how good I am at Fortnite. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that is one of the many things that we are working on. It's being a Fortnite champion is among them.
Well, so what other games are you currently playing?
At the moment, just Fortnite, because the Zero Build. I'm excited for what they're doing for Zero Build this next year. Like the opportunity I had yesterday, wouldn't have came here, one, if I didn't have a clone, but two, if I wasn't so active in the Zero Build community the past few months, right? So I'm excited for more of those types of things, and just like you said earlier, just being a front runner, in a lot of the things that I do. So that's why I'm kind of like playing Fortnite right now. I feel like they're reinventing their esports side again with the zero build. So I'm just taking advantage of that. And also a lot of these other games, they're just not as fun as they used to be. They're built on the same engines that's been out for like a decade, you know. So we gotta find some new things that can captivate the human mind.
Yeah, no, well said. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and yeah, the community is excited about you repping us, and we look forward to the next time.
Of course, I'm excited to rep your clones. Of course. Faze up, baby.
Cheers, fam. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, kick some ass out there.
Thank you, brother. You guys have a good one.
All right, thanks, fam.